The number one reason why most people never become exceptional at sales is because they do not know when to shut up. You've been sold a lie from movies like Wolf of Wall Street, where you need to be this loudmouth, robust sales rep who manipulates people into giving you thousands or millions of dollars, and you have to have the gift of the gab and say all the right words and the right sequences in order to make a sale. Well, no. The reality is that in sales, the better you are as a listener, the more deals you will convert. The less you talk, the more money you make. I'll say that one more time. The less you talk, the more money you make. They've done studies that show that the best closers, they talk 30 to 20% of the time on their sales calls. And then the other 70, 80% of the time on their sales calls, the prospect does all of the talking. One very important thing to remember in sales is that what you say means something, but what the prospect says means everything. So you can try to tell someone you have the best program in the world. You can say it a million times in a million different ways, or you can get them to say you have the best program in the world. You can get them to identify and completely lay out and describe their pains, what their dream transformation is, and how your program will help get them there. You can get them to say that with strategic questioning. And when they say it, it means something. But when you say it, it doesn't count for a lot. There's synapses in the human brain that work differently when you try to tell someone a thing is a certain way, as opposed to when they tell you that it is that way, and then they verbalize it themselves out of their own mouth. If you can get people to verbalize with your question and how good your program is, how it's going to transform their lives, then you'll by default be way more persuasive and you'll convert way more deals. So instead of assuming the sell and assuming people's pain points, why don't you ask them what their pain actually is? Why don't you dig deep into the core of what is preventing them from living their dream life and what that dream life actually looks like, and getting them to explain it vividly. If they explain it vividly to you, you can then use those words that they use to you back on the call to tie the knot and tie them down into what they said they want to do in the future. But people don't understand this. People think it's all about you yapping and yapping and yapping, but it's really getting them to tell you why you're so good with strategic questioning. That is the key to being a killer salesperson. And unless you learn that, you're going to have a very tough time in sales. A very tough time. That's why some of the best closers in the world are introverts, funny enough. They burn out pretty quick as opposed to an extrovert. You give an introvert 8 calls a day, 6 days a week. Eventually they're gonna probably burn out, but their efficiency per call tends to be really high because they let the person speak, they let the person articulate their pain points, they let the person articulate what their desired situation is, and then they ask questions that makes the prospect realize that your product and service is the bridge from their current undesirable situation to their dream desirable situation. So instead of me, for example, telling you that we have this amazing element to our coaching program where we do coaching calls with you, let's call it 5 days per week, and I tell you how amazing that is, and I'd say, Mr. Prospect, we do coaching calls 5 days per week, people love it, it's amazing, you can hop on with Ben 5 days per week and he helps you out so much, people love this part of our program, no one else does it. Instead of saying that, I can just say, Mr. Prospect, would coaching calls be beneficial to you, do you feel? Yeah, coaching calls would be beneficial to me, the prospect says. And then you, as the closer, follows it up with saying, why so? And then the prospect is going to tell you all the ways in which coaching and the one-on-one accountability is going to be beneficial to them. And now they are sold on the benefits of that particular part of your program, because you use strategic questioning to get them to sell you on why that part of your program is so good. Yes, Mr. Salesman, that would be amazing. If I had coaching calls 5 days per week, that would be phenomenal. I think that's one of the biggest things preventing me from achieving my goal. I don't have that accountability. I have no one to show me the roadmap. If I can get coaching from Ben 5 days per week, that would change the game for me. Just because you asked in the right way. So what do you think is more persuasive? Telling him that we have this amazing element in our program where Ben is going to hop onto calls with you 5 days per week and give you coaching, or you get him to say it by getting him to describe the benefits of that particular part of your product or service. What do you think is more persuasive? Obviously, the scenario where in which he tells you how valuable it is, and then towards the end, when you do the close, if they give you any objections about any part of the particular program, you can say, Ben, I remember you said that this would be da-da-da-da-da. Ben, I remember you said that this part of the program would help you out. Ben, I remember you said you have this specific pain point, and you said that our program is the bridge to that. Ben, what's going on? And then you just are able to handle objections way more fluidly. So I'm going to end this video by saying, talk less, listen more, ask more strategic questions. It will make you freaking rich.